Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset Episode 24. This podcast is about anything and everything related to Destiny the game. If you enjoy playing Destiny as much as we do, then you're in the right place. This week, we bring the podcast from 0 to 60. Hot off the presses from PSX, we discuss the upcoming patch, Surprise Challenge Mode, and the Sparrow Racing League. Guardians, hello and welcome. This is Arrow Knight, one of your hosts, and the other here with me, of course, the rating machine, CyborgSasquatch. What's up, man?
Hello, I'm CyborgSasquatch. Wait, no, wait. Hold on. I can't do that. There's already a Swain bot. I don't want to rip his bit. Going all right, man. How are you doing?
I'm great, dude. Busy Monday, but time to talk about some Destiny and just kind of take it easy a little bit.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
Let's get into announcements this week. So we have a good geography lesson. Man, what a response from you guys. Yes. I called you out last week. Nobody was tweeting me geography lessons. I got like 10. So I've got lots to choose from. I have a great one that came via email from KenUFan22. And the location that he lives is Saarbrücken, which is right on the border of Germany and France. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm going to try it again when I read this email. But I'm gonna let I'm gonna go ahead and let his email speak for why this is such a cool place. All right, so KenUFan22 says, I live in the city of Saarbrücken. It is not a very big city, but it is kind of special. It is situated right at the border of France, and the region of which it is the capital was French once, but has been German now for the past 50 years. So the influence of French culture in language, food, and other things is very present, especially on a Saturday when you're trying to get through the overcrowded shops. You will probably hear more French than German. It has only recently been changed that pupils learn English first. Before in school, it is the other way around, so I started out with French. I still enjoyed it for a long time in my childhood. That also had an impact on my game time in Destiny. I am not afraid to meet up with other people from France and play together with them speaking French. It is fun slaying Kropta in French, for example, which is Crota in English and German. And it is always good for a laugh when someone gets lost in languages. So while all French people come over to Germany to go shopping, and many Germans cross the border to buy French wine, cheese, and bread, I sit at home and enjoy a different cross-cultural exchange. That's why I thought Saarbrücken would be a good pin on your map.
Nice, man.
Yeah, well, thanks, man. This sounds like a really cool place. Hopefully one day I get to go check it out myself. But I don't remember if KenUFan mentioned what class was the best. I think he got caught up on his wonderful region that he lives. But we're going to go with Warlock just by default.
By default, of course.
By default, Warlock is the best class.
I bet it's Titan, man.
He might be a Titan. Who knows? There's he's got a little bit of German, a little bit of French, so I don't know. He might lead Hunter. Who knows?
That's cool too, man. He also dropped in his email to us that he thought the geography lesson was pretty cool, and it basically allowed for lots of people, united a lot of people from different countries. So yeah, the geography lesson is cool, man. I like it.
That's why it's the best part of the show.
It was also nice this week too, like you said. We got several responses with the call out last week, so at least we know a few people listen to the show.
Someone is out there listening.
That's always a good thing, man. So we also wanted to follow up with our giveaway. We've been mentioning it on the last couple episodes. We tweeted out, and we want to thank you guys. We did hit 900 followers this week, and we said we would announce the winner of our next $10 in silver that we were going to give away, and we are going to do just that. The lucky winner is Necessary Evil.
Necessary Evil.
Yes, he representing the derp tag. We picked someone at random, and who better than Necessary Evil? So if you want to tweet us, man, let us know that you're listening in and which console you prefer to get that $10 in silver on, and we will take care of you.
Yeah, man.
Just a reminder, like we've mentioned, at 1,000, which we're about 60, 70 away from 1,000, Cyborg is going to be sending that lucky guardian some engrams.
Yeah, I got some nice squishy engrams sitting right here for you. They are 4 different colors and are official Bungie swag.
Very nice, man. I gotta say, my stuff's setting up like on a nice shelf now, all my Destiny stuff, and those engrams right in the front look awesome, dude. So you guys are definitely gonna like those. I believe still sold out, right? They're still
yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah, so hard to
I
get.
haven't seen them come back up.
So also, we tweeted out this week, and we kind of just wanted to mention it in the show. We wanted to give a big thanks from Cyborg and I to the Derp fam for being such a positive, awesome community. We appreciate you guys keeping it that way, and that's been our goal, since the start, and all these new Guardians coming in just have such a cool, positive place to play Destiny and talk about Destiny and other games. So we appreciate you guys keeping it that way. We also wanted to say a little while back, we started the little hashtag DERP, the DRP, but we think it's a little more personalized and kind of adds a little more camaraderie if we're gonna announce right here from now on, if you guys would like, DERP fam. Hashtag Derp fam.
Hashtag Derp fam.
That's the new hashtag for the family. So
a new order has been installed. The order of the Derp fam.
The Derp fam. So support that anytime you like, and that'll
the time
narrow it down a bit and allow us to kind of keep it in one place. So
there we go.
Anyways, man.
How was your reset?
Oh, you got me, dude. I gave you that pause to get me, dude. I have to announce this week to everybody. This is exciting news, man. Very exciting. I didn't know if the day would ever come. I don't know if we thought it would. But this week, we ran our first Nightfall together, dude.
Oh, we did.
We did. So
it was
fun, dude.
It was brutal.
It was more fun for me because I was 270 light. I really probably shouldn't have been in the Nightfall, and I knew I was going to die a bunch, but you and Crimson carried me through it.
Oh yeah, we got it done, man. That Fallen Saber Strike with Voidburn, man.
Right. Surprisingly, we got past the Warsat pretty decent amount.
Yeah, we got through that
right.
without too much trouble.
Right.
Maybe one wipe. But man, it was the boss that was kicking her butt.
Right.
You were getting after those shanks with your rocket.
Yeah, I tried, man. I was using my hammers, my super, and my rockets to take out the sniping shanks, just so you guys would at least not have to worry about them.
Yeah, and you got the revives in.
Yeah. I tried to do what I could, man, but I appreciate you guys carrying me through that. I got the what's the helm?
Empyrean Bellicose.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I can hover. I already had an exotic helm. I kind of was really hoping to get super lucky and get the Alpha Lupi or something. Or yes, a weapon would have been nice, but I did sneak in the Telesto, so I was able to get it. But what did you get? I don't even remember. You got a reward, didn't you?
Nice. I got some strange coins.
Oh, that's
as
right.
Usual.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing special. I have like 600 plus of those right now. Please give me something to spend
Yeah,
those on.
You don't need the strange coins.
I don't need them.
I wish you could give me some of those for my Xbox character, dude.
I would love to.
Just even 50 would be awesome.
It would be a 400% loan.
Very nice.
Reap them in. What else you play this week, man? What else you have going on?
I played a little Trials. We'll chat about that in a little bit. I know you you dove right into challenge mode because you're the raiding machine, right? Which last week
challenge mode.
No idea, but the next day they launched challenge mode on us.
They did out of nowhere, just kind of popped up in the director. There it is.
Right.
And we had the War Priest as the challenge mode this week. So
tell us about it.
Yeah, so if you're playing normal or hard, it is there in the raid already. You don't have to activate it. I thought that was an interesting choice. I would like to be able to turn that on or off, but it's there, like it or not. You can not do the challenge.
Right.
So pretty much the differences as I've heard it was there's more ads. The ads spawn in a little faster. And then the main mechanic is you can only have someone hold the aura or the brand or relic or whatever it's called one time. So you cannot hold it multiple times. So that actually kind of throws a wrench in the works where you don't want anybody to die. Because if they die, it could automatically pass that or a on to a player that's already held it. So everybody got to stay alive. But overall for my team, it did not seem, exceedingly difficult or, a whole lot more challenging than hard mode already was. For that encounter, that may not be the same for everybody. And I know there's kind of some debate that went on this week about how people felt about that. What did you think?
Yeah, man, last week after we talked for a little bit about salt in the community and controlling your salt when you play the game and things like that, some people were tweeting us because the community kind of got salty a little bit about challenge mode. There's actually a couple different things that we'll just hit on real quick here. One of them is, the classic thing we've been hearing about the 1% versus the 99%, the YouTubers and streamers versus your average player, and how this wasn't hard enough for the 1%, and maybe it is hard for your average player.
Right.
You have a regular raid team. You guys jump in. You do it regularly. It took you a little bit probably to get it, but you did it. You're probably a little bit above an average player like myself. We don't play a ton of other games. We love Destiny. But, for someone who doesn't have a crew, that hasn't stumbled across the derp fam, this probably is pretty challenging. They're gonna have to challenge themselves to go out and find a fire team to run it with. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think about that part of the conversation?
Well, I see both sides of the story here, and it's hard to disagree with either viewpoint. Basically, there was some, and this is, I hate for things to be so divisive around here.
Right.
But what some people are calling like the 1%, meaning like the streamers and the YouTubers and the guys that play this game like full time for a living. There are some people who said, look, we're kind of disappointed in this. We felt like there would be more, maybe it would be harder, maybe there would be more creative mechanics behind it, etc. And they kind of got a little bit of backlash because, a lot of other players, which were being called the 99%, are saying, guys, this is enough for your average guy, that doesn't do this every day or every week or whatever.
Right.
I feel like I'm kind of in the middle. Yes, it could have been harder, but I also agree that could be enough of a challenge for many people. I'm also saying, hey, be patient because the next encounters may not be as simple, and this might be a decent warm up for us here.
Right. Right.
War Priest isn't supposed to be the hardest boss in the raid.
That'll be interesting
He's
to
kind
see
of a stepping stone.
How Oryx ends up being. That's going to be interesting one.
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, I don't even want to know.
Yeah. You've been talking about him being difficult just in hard mode alone, just that fight.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. This is starting to make me sweat.
I definitely see both sides of it too, man. I think we could have something in the game that is just extremely difficult. I mean, not everyone is ever going to do it. At some point, they may never do it. I may never do it. That's cool to have that in the game. This isn't that, I don't think, for a lot of people, and for some it is. It's just kind of one of those things. I think the other thing here that adds to this debate is Destiny and Bungie for the first time gave us guaranteed loot for this challenge mode. I don't think we've ever had that before, right?
No, I don't think we have. Not at guaranteed light level and
right. So they at normal. If you guys don't know this, normal mode they guarantee you a 310 artifact, and is it a weapon?
And a 310 weapon.
310 weapon, and then hard mode they guarantee you finally that 320 artifact that you haven't been able to get up to this point, and a 320 weapon.
Yep.
So I think that's part of it too, man. Is if people feel like they're never gonna do this, they're not gonna get that loot. I've listened to a couple podcasts this week, and I even think maybe on Planet Destiny they mentioned, and I kind of like this idea of normal mode. The normal mode raid, you get your 300 to 310, and then your hard mode raid, you get your 310 to 320. Maybe at certain bosses, maybe Oryx, you're guaranteed a 320 artifact or something like that. And then maybe on these challenge modes, or this challenge mode in particular, this type of challenge mode, if you will, you get cosmetic stuff, like a shader that you can sport around on the tower to show that you did the challenge mode. People will know that's the only place you get that shader. I don't know, man. What do you think? You like your loot.
It's not a bad idea, but I do think it's important to have weapons and armor or weapons or armor as a reward because they're the thing that allows you to do something different in the game or make a part of the game more fun or less challenging. While cosmetic stuff is just cosmetic stuff. You strip all that away, we still have a good game because of the mechanics and the weapons and all that variety that's a part of the game. But I mean, you're probably on to something there. And it's also something to note that there could be more cosmetic stuff coming with the other two challenges.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a ship, to see a shader, stuff that we already know exists, but we haven't been able to get.
Well, I think another important thing too is, and maybe it would solve this a little bit. I mean, people are just passionate about this game and they're saying how they feel from their perspective, like we do each week. And, we try to put a positive spin on it and not try to get too salty or negative, but I feel like there should be, I think Bungie's figured this out at this point. With this, they kind of didn't show it, but there should be multiple places to get this, different light level gear. So we should have another place to get a 320 artifact soon.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And some people may be upset because they can't do this challenge. And when you mention it when you put it that way, I can kind of see why, because there's no other place to get that 320 artifact right now.
Right.
And I may be, if I didn't raid a lot and wasn't so hard into it, I may be a little salty about not being able to get that. Right. But on the other hand, you only really need to hit that light level to do the raid stuff.
Right.
You really only need to be at the most 310 in trials or Iron Banner to be at the top of the damage curve.
Yeah, not even, we've kind of talked about that. We kind of, lately it seems like we kind of balance each other out because you raid like crazy and I do trials and you dip in trials as well, obviously quite a bit. But you say that, man, and I completely agree with you. I don't think any of my characters on PS4 are above 310, if they even hit 310. And I went into trials at 295 and there's just no reason for me to be max level. And I thought about when the next DLC comes out, I probably won't be max level. It's going to be kind of weird to not be max level to start the new expansion pack, but I don't really have any reason to be, unless I want to start raiding like crazy, like you've been doing the last several weeks.
Yeah. And, most of the time when they put out this new content, you're able to jump up in level pretty quick.
Right.
It kind of levels everybody out for a short period. So, there's not a huge reason to be concerned about it. Right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird with the Taken King because I didn't want to just drive right through it. And then at the same time, I'm not, in every expansion pack before, I've wanted to hit that max level. And I really don't even think about it that much. So, maybe I guess to some people it's more important to hit that and, they want multiple ways to get this loot. But, man, like we said, we can definitely see all sides and perspectives about this topic.
Yeah.
But...
and we just need to wait and see what the rest of it that they have is before we pass, our final attitudinal adjustment about it.
For sure. Yep. No, I agree. Well, what about the other stuff this week, man? We kind of got off on a tangent.
Yeah, man.
Mode.
Arms Day. What did I order this week? I ordered the Hake Arminius D, so I'm waiting for that. Waiting for Wednesday so I can pick that up. And I picked up my PDX 45, which is, you could pick up a wonderful roll on that this week.
Yes.
Did you get that?
I did, man. It was, I think it was Perfect Balance, Hidden Hand, and Rifle Barrel. Dude, I actually, I've been playing Trials a lot, as we know, and I had plenty of weapons to infuse into it. So I got that thing up to 302, maxed it out, put the nodes in, and jumped in. And I gotta say, it doesn't hit as hard as Nerwin's, but man, that thing is stable, and it is nice, dude. It is a really nice gun.
It's a solid weapon. It's a good alternative if you're not into one of those other particular guns that are, it's in that archetype, so you can kind of play around with it. And It's kind of like the Hawk Saw. So it's, it's got some good rolls on it. So
for sure, man. I
order those PDX 45, boys.
Definitely. Recommended at least up until the patch tomorrow. and then we don't.
Yeah, and then we don't know. So never mind.
Scratch that.
Yeah. Scratch that.
And then it's almost weird, man. That it's. We'll talk about that later, but that it's going to hit us tomorrow. But I did buy. I had to run. Believe it or not, I mentioned this earlier. I picked up the Telesto, dude, but I ran 2 Prison of Elders on my Xbox character. It was actually
nice.
fun to be in there, man. It was just kind of neat. It wasn't super hard. I just ran the 28 at 270 light with some randoms in the matchmaking, and I had to get I needed like 2 strange coins, and of course on my first run I got 1 strange coin, and then on my second run I got 2. So now I'm sitting on 1 strange coin and a Telesto, but I'll take it.
Got that Telesto.
Yeah,
though.
I couldn't let that one pass me. And Zer is exciting again on my Xbox character, dude. I was tweeting about that last week. I have 3 exotics, so basically almost anything that he could have, I'll be excited about.
No doubt, yeah. Whatever he picks up, and then hopefully we get some new stuff coming in. Which while I mentioned that, we're getting a patch tomorrow, sometime in the morning. It's not happening at reset. But there's going to be new exotics, so don't do your nightfalls and stuff until you see that patch drop if you listen to this early in the morning.
Yes, for sure. Try to up your chances at getting those new year 1 and a couple new exotics.
That multi-tool.
Yes, man.
Or whatever it is you like.
Did you do any trials this weekend?
I did some trials. Why don't you tell me about your trials experience, because it was far better than mine, I'm sure.
I actually I'm going to save the best story for our shout out section / derp community section, but
okay.
I did go 9-0 once. I was super excited. It was Widow's Court. I love that map.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, dude, like, it was way difficult this weekend. We had 1 9-0 card on our first or second passage on Friday night, which I'm streaming. I streamed that. We had some Derp fam hang out. It's really cool, man.
Good.
I've got my setup good to go. So I'm hoping just to, when I play some trials, or whatever, to throw that on just so we can kind of hang out a little bit. You stopped by the weekend before last. So
yeah.
Anyways, we both try to do that. I'm hoping to do that a little bit more. I went 9-0 Friday night with Terry and I Tattoo. And after that 9-0 run, we did use our Mercy. It just wasn't happening, man. Like, it was back to our 8-1, and we try to just complete our gold tier by completing 10 rounds or 10 games, and it's tough, dude. Like, I love that map, but man, like, that bottom spawn, and if you lose a couple rounds in a row on Widow's Court, or you've got one crazy sniper that's playing, it just changes everything.
Yeah, and thinking about this in hindsight, the fact that this was a year 1 trials map,
right,
I think really, really upped the difficulty, because a lot of people have played on that map before.
That's a good point.
They already have lanes, spots, like, they know how the map works, they know the ins and outs, and I didn't really think about that until just now, but
that's a
that
really good
in and
point.
of itself makes that a more difficult weekend. Just as much as we were excited about it because we felt like we were going to have an advantage, well, a whole lot of other people did
for
too.
Sure. Yeah.
But I had kind of a mixed experience myself. I haven't gone flawless yet this weekend. I might try again some tonight, if I get the time. But me and my regular teammate ran with like 3 or 4 different people over the course of the weekend. We didn't have like a third teammate that could stick around for long every night.
Right.
So we'd run like 1 or 2 cards, and then they'd have to get off, and then we'd like get somebody else in and rope somebody like, let's give it a shot. And we'd have a pretty good run with some solid matches, and then just run into a team that, it was funny. We ran into a couple teams Friday night that had some close matches, but they were good players. And then we ran into the same teams again another night and would smoke them.
Oh, wow.
And then we'd play a team that honestly you could tell were not as skilled, but then we would just choke and they would beat us. Like, it was a weird weekend.
Right.
Like, we'd have great matches, and then we'd have terrible matches, and we just could not keep our strategy together at every point.
Yeah, we've learned, man, when you get down even 2 rounds right off the bat, it's hard to come back from that, because they've built their super. It's a mind game, which is what we've really tried to work on, changing our route or, our strategy on the map real quick between rounds. And it's tough, man. Like, it is really tough to do.
Yeah.
So.
And then, ran into some just beast mode teams that would just make us completely hate trials altogether. So,
yep.
But I stuck with it. I did it for a good part of the weekend, and I didn't go flawless, but I still had fun. And that's just part of competing. Is for some people, you're not going to get there every weekend. There's lots of guys that will,
right?
But I still had a good time, and I still feel like it's helping me improve. And
yeah, it's fun, man.
I'll tell you, it made it hard to keep my salt in check.
Right? Yeah, the bounties keep it interesting now. You're always gonna get a reward, and
I got some stuff out of it.
Yeah, and we went. I think it was Saturday night. We went 8-0. Had already used our mercy. Went up against a team. A guy was running the Scarab emblem, and dude, he was just a sniping machine. Like it, and then we lost. We went 8-1, and it's just like, well, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
One of those things.
It can happen that way, man.
But, all right, dude. Well, it sounds like I didn't think we played a ton this week, but it sounds like we fit in some time.
I played every night this week.
Nice.
I did not betray my destiny and play any other game. Since we last recorded. I put in some solid time. I also have been working on my Shaxx Crucible quest line.
Oh, okay.
So I'm making some progress on that. Trying to practice a little more PvP now that I'm kind of getting back into trials. I'm like, well, I need to improve. I need to brush up my skills. So I've been playing some other PvP and stuff this week too.
That's cool, dude. Yeah, I've been trying to primarily get my Titan on Xbox PvP ready, but man, when Xur sells stuff like Telesto, like I just can't pass that up. I gotta have that PvP.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Man.
Yeah, speaking of Telesto, man, I was cruising Twitter. I saw our friend Bones put up on the Crucible Radio YouTube a Telesto little I guess mini montage. And he was running Telesto on a Night Stalker with Shade Step and was just doing work.
Oh, man.
And he truly inspired me. And I was like, I'm going to bring Telesto into the Crucible. And I'll tell you what, I had a pretty darn good time in Mayhem Rumble with the Telesto.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I was having a blast. So I'm playing some more with that. And I'm hoping post-patch it might be even more fun.
Yeah.
But I would encourage you to bring it out and have some fun with that.
I like fusion rifles, stuff. I used them way early on. I love the timing with fusion rifles. I loved things like the torque bow and Gears of War, where you kind of got to charge it up. So it won't take much to get me back on a fusion rifle. But,
no. Well, consider this your impetus.
All right, man. That'll work.
Get out there and do it. Let's talk some news.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right, man. We're going to kind of gloss over the weekly update. There was not a whole ton of new information. We mostly got a heads up from Deej, and he was like, hey, guys, there's the beef of the information's coming tomorrow. So on Friday, we got our promised details on the Titan class tuning that's going to drop with tomorrow's patch.
They are showing some attention to the Titans, man, just like they promised.
Yes, and contrary to what I had expected, they are just, from what it seems, only balancing the Titan class.
Right.
I was kind of hoping for some other class balancing too, but it looks like just Titans.
Yeah, I agree, man. I hoped that they would kind of do some across all of them, but at least I'm definitely glad to see that they're not just messing with the Sunbreaker. They're doing something to every subclass of the Titan.
They are. So their main goals, from what we understand here, one big one: give other players a glimmer of hope standing against the Solar Titan in PvP.
Yeah,
that's a big one. And then with Striker and Defender class, for Striker class, they hope to bring his average KD up, or KDR up, so they're competitive with other subclasses, meaning they want them to be more competitive, and reinforce their hard charging melee role. And then for Defenders, they want to double down the instant base / ready for anything combat support role.
Right.
So some interesting stuff to affect this. Let's kind of get into what they're doing with Sunbreakers here.
Yeah, first and foremost, dude, we have to say, and this is so needed, and I'm so glad it's here as a Titan main, across the board on all subclasses, we are getting a 12.5% increase in our Titan melee range.
Yeah.
Thank you
That's a
for
big
that.
deal, man.
We're getting a little bit getting rid of those T-Rex arms.
If I remember this correctly, I think they said they're extending the range from like 3 to 4.5 meters. Is that right?
I think so. I think it
was
that.
4 to 4.5, something like that. But it's supposed to be more, so that's good enough right there.
At least it won't seem quite as bad to get melee from 35 feet from you warlocks.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, man, playing with my new Sunbreaker and some PvP for Iron Banner.
That's got to mess with you.
I kept trying to get those melees, man, and I was like, oh god.
Not happening.
T-Rex arms, and I would get caught, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get used to this. This is terrible.
I can imagine coming from a warlock, man. It takes a little bit of an adjustment.
Different. Because like half the range. But a big one right here that I was happy with for Sunstrike, they're going to decrease the damage over time.
There you go.
From 6.5 seconds to 5.5 seconds. I don't know if this has impacted you, but when you get that Sunstrike melee, it is so freaking long.
Oh, dude,
bro.
I laugh. I honestly laugh and kind of feel for the other player when I melee them, and I can just see it continue. Just it continues and continues.
Tick, 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 tick. So yeah, it was 6.5 seconds. So they're gonna shave a second off of that. I think that will be enough where it won't feel quite so long.
Right.
'Cause it feels pretty long. They're gonna reduce the damage resistance during super for the Hammer of Soul by 9.09%. and slow the hammer travel speed by 1.32%.
Man, I thought
so
that
that's
was
going to hopefully make them
weird.
Yeah, that's
it's going to be better.
9%?
Yeah,
it'll be better. It'll be. I think that could be enough.
I just think I feel like the hammer travel speed as someone who runs their Titan as a main, like it's going to be weird.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I'm going to notice. I think it needs to be decreased, but I feel like I'm going to notice that those hammers aren't that they're a little slowed.
Well, they're pretty fast,
right?
And I think the idea is to I think in my opinion it does need to be a little bit slower than say a golden gun shot,
right,
which should be instantaneous.
Right.
So when you see him throw it, I think if you see it and you anticipate it, you should at least have a fraction of a chance at being able to dodge or get out of the way or pop behind that cover just in time, you know? I don't know if that 1.32% is going to be enough, but we'll see.
Yep. No, I agree. We'll yeah, it definitely needs to be decreased a bit.
Yeah.
We got what is this? Reduced splash damage detonation radius multiplier. So on the Forge Master, it's minus 20%. The tracking of the hammers is down 25%.
Tracking bonus is down 25%, so it's not going to be. And I didn't think it was that great.
Yeah, right. Every now and then, though, it felt like it would bend around a building or something, man. And you're like, what?
Yeah, it can. And then remove +1 recovery and +1 agility stat bonuses. That's kind of a big one right there for Flameseeker, right?
Right.
So that's going to, make it a little bit easier to get away from that guy that's got the tracking. Added +1 agility stat for Fleet Fire, added +1 recovery stat for Firekeeper, and then Cauterize will actually have a cooldown. That is a big one.
Yep.
That's going to make a big difference. So you can't just, be hitting enemies back to back to back and get that Cauterize over and over.
I was wondering what they were going to do with that. And that honestly, I think, I didn't even really think about doing it that way. And that will be huge, man. It'll at least make it feel like if your team's shooting a Titan, that they don't instantly, every time they get a kill, get that back. You'll actually feel like you can take them down. So, replenishing health. Man, that's tough.
Yep. And then last, Catapult Lift will have a faster initial velocity at +5%, I think, to have it be more comparable to the other jumps that give you the quick kind of jump in the air. So tell us about Strikers.
Yeah, man. So the melee we already mentioned. That's good news. Storm Fist increased base damage by 18.2%.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It is,
pretty
man.
Significant right there.
Yeah. And then Overload now also provides a faster melee charge, so that's up 50%. Discharge, additional damage, 7.69%. And then also the change the AoE to a spherical shape. So I'm interested
discharge.
to see what that looks like. What they've done with that. You know what I mean? How it'll. I don't know. I'm interested to see if it really feels like it's changing that much with that shape change. But then amplify, increase super energy bonus plus 30% on strikers. So
and then some of the passive stuff. Headstrong provides faster sprint. Transfusion has an improved cooldown from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. Here's the big ones I thought. Unstoppable now provides a total of +2 armor compared to +1 and increases damage resistance by 25%. So, sometimes there's that weird time when Unstoppable doesn't quite work the way you want. I think that may push that armor up and that resistance up a little more to be more comfortable with Unstoppable. And then Juggernaut, you can get improved shield health by 14.3%, and it works when you're airborne, finally.
There you go.
And then that catapult lift, that 5% plus. Some good all-around stuff with Striker there. I mean, there wasn't a ton that they could improve, but it just makes a little more scary to be up close to that Striker.
Right, yeah. They just kind of mentioned... he joked in the update that he was going to call the Taken King with a little subtitle "Rise of the Titans." I thought that was pretty funny, but it's neat to see that they're changing some stuff with Striker, and then also Defender. The Ward of Dawn will recharge grenade and melee abilities on super cast, and then the catapult's got the +5%. So I think they're just Defender. We all know is awesome in PvE, but people that have tried it and succeeded, and especially with this Ward of Dawn change, we may see some defenders in PvP, man. I don't know. I feel like, especially with no backup plans, I think is the little shotgun trick people are doing now. That may change with the patch, but I don't know, man. It's cool to see them change all three across the board to kind of make them a little more even and bring a couple up and maybe take one down a little bit. We won't mention which one that is.
Yeah,
I don't think we have to.
Overall, I'm hoping that this is a good balance, and we'll put some of these classes where they need to be. And I think that what they're doing are some good ideas.
I'll let you guys know. I know you have your Titan Cyborg, and I think
you play him a lot more than me, so you're gonna appreciate the finer tunings of what's going on here, because I haven't played them enough to know how those differences will feel.
Since day one, I've been a Titan, and I always seem to go back to my Titan. So we'll see, man. We'll see how this feels after tomorrow.
So play him all this week, and let us know how you did in the Crucible and everywhere else as well.
I may even try a Defender Titan in some Crucible. I know Terry has a little bit. I'm just kind of
with that instant melee and instant grenade, that could be a nice little gambit right there.
If nothing else, it could be fun.
It'll be fun, if anything. Any other news or anything we want to cover this week before we get into our main topic?
No, man. I don't think it'll be a surprise what our main topic is this week and why we're not just talking about it in the news section. What do we got, Cyborg?
We have got a brand new, amazing, unexpected experience coming into your Destiny game tomorrow. Announced at PSX just on Saturday is the Sparrow Racing League.
It's crazy, dude.
Are you ready?
You know what? I'm ready. I've been ready for some Sparrow races. I'm excited about it. I just thought maybe we get a little bit more at PSX, but that's okay, dude. Once we started seeing all this stuff they put into Sparrow Racing, it's really surprising. So we're gonna try and break it all down for you guys.
So before we get too far into what the Sparrow Racing League is, let's just talk about our reactions to this being announced. So, we talked and we've been talking like, okay, guys, PSX, like this could be the thing. They're going to tell us what's coming. We're going to hear about the new DLC, man. It's so exciting. And I was sitting there, I'm watching it on Twitch and, me and you and Joe and Manny are all texting like, okay, what's going to happen, guys? Like, like the hype was starting to build and I was starting to get that weird feeling when I'm just so excited and I don't know what's about to happen and I'm all amped up and then it's Sparrow Racing.
Right. Yeah, no, to make it, the community, I guess we could say we kind of do this to ourselves, but not really.
We hype ourselves up,
It's just because it's a game we love. And,
Yeah.
To make it even worse, they mentioned at the beginning that they had new Destiny content they were going to talk about.
Yeah,
right? So
and there was going to be something playable. So we were all like, "Oh man, this is going to be awesome!"
Right.
But and so don't get us wrong, okay? Me and Arrow are very excited about Sparrow Racing League. It just was not what we expected, but that is our own fault.
Right.
That is completely our fault. It's not Bungie's fault. It's probably our fault that some of you were disappointed because we're like, yeah, man, there's going to be
PlayStation
stuff
experience.
at PSX, man.
and they've tried to push the game on PlayStation, and this is such a good forum to do it. But that's all right, man.
But this is where we're at, the live team has put together the Sparrow Racing League, and they announced it Saturday. They showed it off. We've got a bunch of stuff that we were able to kind of curate together from everybody that went to PSX and et cetera. We can talk about it, and kind of give you the scoop if you haven't seen some of that stuff.
It's a lot, man. I mean,
it is a lot. They did put a lot into this. Yeah. And from what I understand, they've been working on this for quite some time, actually.
Right.
And I'm really excited to play this. It looks like it's going to be fun. I'm actually kind of disappointed it's going to be for a limited time.
I know, man. Like that was my first response. I'm like, oh, dude, another thing that's on like an event timetable. But at the same time, if I can't imagine it'll be. I feel like it's weird that it's 3 weeks this initial time. I don't know if that'll be its normal thing to come back around, for 3 weeks. But I think it could be kind of cool that it's a timed event. It'd be neat, like Iron Banner, if we have something each week that we have, to play.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. If they bring this back, maybe they can have it be like a rotating event that happens like, every other week or every 2 weeks or opposite Iron Banner or something. Right. That would be pretty fun.
I got to say, dude, though, it would be kind of nice, honestly, as a little above your average Destiny player. When Iron Banner is going on, it kind of stresses me out a little bit. Because I usually want to try to do what I normally do, but I also want to grind some Iron Banner.
You also want to do that.
So it's almost like we should have an off week. So it should be Iron
Yeah.
Banner, off week to do the other stuff, and then Sparrow Racing League, and then off week.
That's not a bad idea. So what they've said so far is the live team put this together. It's a limited three week experience that starts with the patch that's dropping December 8th, tomorrow for us, today when you're listening. And Amanda Holiday is kind of going to be in charge of running this shindig. This is her deal. And from what we've seen, guys, it looks really cool. So you're going to be racing sparrows through 2 different courses or raceways, from what we understand. One on Mars, which is a more beginner course, and then a more advanced course on Venus. And what they have said in the vid doc that they put out is, like, we want you guys to try this. We want to hear what you think. And if you love it, we'll bring it back. If it doesn't work and you don't like it, we'll lay it to rest. Right. I think they want to see, is this a thing that can be part of the full Destiny experience? Are people going to love this? And if so, then we can kind of test it out and let it stick around.
I got to say, dude, we kind of talked about this before the show, but if anyone out there listening ever played Jet Moto on some of the original PlayStation consoles, I've been excited about Sparrow Racing for a while because I feel like it's going to feel just like that game. Those were like futuristic hovering motorcycles, and it was all racing in that game. It was called Jet Moto. I'm really pumped about racing some Sparrows because I had a lot of fun in that game, man.
Yeah, I had to kind of think back about this because you brought it up, but I kind of went back into my brain memory banks and remembered kind of some ideas of how that game looked, and this is kind of reminiscent of that.
Yep, for sure.
And this could be really fun. Another person I think brought up, I think it was Mr. Woodhouse, and he said it was kind of reminiscent of Hydro Thunder, which is a game I did play and love. And it does kind of look similar to that. I mean, you're basically, you're cruising with sparrows. You're playing against five other players. This is a PvP type event, and you're trying to hit these gates that give you boost as you hit them and help you kind of cruise along. And there's multiple laps, so you'll get, like, at the end of the track, if it doesn't loop, like I think the Venus one is always descending. And so puts you through a Vex time gate at the end and pops you right back up to the beginning,
right?
Which I think is a really clever way of like fitting that into Destiny.
Yeah, that's neat.
But beyond that, let's kind of talk about like what we're going to be doing as far as quests and gear and all that fun stuff, because we kind of got the scoop on some of that today.
Yeah, we did. There's basically in the game, there's going to be this Sparrow Racing League book that's going to give us like a percentage completion. You can see like the your raced courses. You can see the races you finish, your record times, number of laps / races, number of tricks you've done.
Yeah.
And what is it? They've got different classes, right? Licenses that you can do. Is that right?
Yeah. So from what we understand, you'll start out with a quest and you have these racing licenses, and you start with a C class license. And as you kind of go through the races and perform in different ways, you'll get advanced up to higher classes, and I think it goes up to like S. And so what happens is as you get these better licenses, better gear starts to drop for you at the end. And I think in game you can ultimately get items to drop up to 320, is from what Deej said in one of his PlayStation interviews. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, I didn't think we would get 320 gear from it. And I got to say, some of it looks pretty sleek, man. I mean, the gear we'll talk about in a minute, but it's got race perks on it, and we kind of were talking about, I think it might turn into a funny thing to go into the raid or something with that gear.
With those race perks,
right?
Yeah, and then they also announced that there's going to be a PlayStation exclusive quest where you can get a special Jade Rabbit set of I think it was is it armor or is it just
I think well,
a sparrow?
I'm not sure. I know there's
they haven't said 100%.
Yeah, the color scheme, so maybe even like a shader is something with Jade Rabbit. I don't know that we know for sure.
Some Jade Rabbit stuff coming for you if you're on PlayStation, you bastards.
So, you know, man, I honestly wish they would quit doing that PlayStation exclusive stuff. I want us all to have the same thing, but I
wish it would too.
It works.
Oh, and while we're on that, he also announced that they're going to have a special set of Iron Banner armor for PlayStation only,
which
when that comes back.
What is PlayStation paying them, man? Like, I love that my main console for this is PlayStation, but I really do feel like we all should have the same thing, dude. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of at that point.
I wish we could.
So we could talk about it. I can't talk to you about Jade Rabbit, dude.
I know. I wish we could. I mean, you can talk about it.
Yeah, right.
You can talk
just
about
not,
it as much as you
not
want.
with you though, man. We can't
I
compare
know.
thoughts.
I can just be like, yeah, that's cool. That's great. But there's also going to be bounties.
Yep.
So there's weekly and daily bounties that you'll be able to pick up that can reward different armor, probably some marks and stuff along the way. So gear wise, there's going to be helmets and class items that do have significant light.
Right.
And all the other stuff that you pick up, which would be like gloves and chest pieces and boots, will not have light affixed to them. But they will have race or Sparrow Racing League specific perks attached to them. So they will be valuable in some ways.
So how will it factor your light level then? Does it not matter?
I don't
with
think
racing?
It's going to matter.
Okay.
I think maybe the light level, like what I'm thinking is the helmets and the class items you'll be able to kind of use outside of the racing league in ways that might benefit you.
Right.
And that's why they are carry light, because I don't think light is going to affect anything in this.
Okay. That makes sense.
It'll be like a standard Crucible match where, you know, light is kind of irrelevant.
Right. I mean, man, we weren't joking, guys. Like, they have put some time and some detail into this thing. I mean, we've got the gear. It's just, it's crazy, man. Shaders, emotes. I don't know.
There's going to be shaders that drop. That's going to be pretty cool. And as we kind of get into some of this other stuff, emotes, sparrows, horns, a lot of this stuff is actually going to tie into Eververse with Tess Everest.
Right.
So if you're paying attention to some of the stuff they put out, they said, hey guys, if there's any other emotes that you like, they're going to be phased out and you'll have to get them in like kind of, you know, RNG packages that you can buy. So they're bringing in all new emotes. They're going to bring in, some stuff you can buy that has some of the other, I don't even know what you would call these, rewards that were similar to what you were getting from Festival of the Lost. So some of those are going to be shaders, horns, I'm talking about horn like in your car.
Right.
Like you go honk honk, and they have different horns that you can get.
And the way that these are going to work are kind of like Festival of the Lost too, right? They're gonna all be rare.
Yeah, you'll get rare stuff, and you can get something called a horn relay that will upgrade it to a legendary, so you can keep it.
Right.
So we'll have that, and then I think the same way with some of the armor, like you'll get blue set armor, and I don't know if you'll be able to keep that stuff.
It's kind of crazy, man. Like, I don't know. It's pretty cosmetic. Like, it's going to be neat to just kind of put the stuff on and just sport it in the tower. Just something totally different. You know, one of those shaders is like a black and light blue Tron looking thing. And I don't know. It's cool looking, dude. Yeah.
Right. Cool. And so, you know, going through what they put out today, if you checked out today, they put up a little Bungie news article. Eververse is going to have new emotes to celebrate the thrill of speed and competition. Toolkits, which is, I think, the kind of the random pack that you can buy, will include stylish but equally fast sparrows, horns. You can buy that. You were mentioning earlier that record book is something you have to buy.
Right.
And the record book allows you to commemorate your stats after the event's over. You can also collect an exclusive emblem and shader, complete challenges to earn vanity gear. And then it says, helmets and class items acquired via the record book can be infused to immortalize your status as a racing champion. So it sounds like a lot of the stuff that will be permanent will have to involve some kind of purchase.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to say everything. Maybe there's other indirect ways to get this stuff, but
yeah, I hope that the Eververse stuff is implemented in a decent way. You know, obviously we're going to be experiencing some more Eververse stuff, so we'll see kind of how that goes. But the record book was kind of cool too. I noticed in a video we watched that as you turn stuff in, it's kind of like its own little stat menu. It showed a percentage of like your completion, I guess, for the event, right? And then from what we understand too, all the sparrows, they'll have some different stats, but overall it'll be what Cyborg mentioned. Like it'll be about hitting those boosts and knowing the track and, you know, your different sparrow, from what we can tell and what we've heard on different videos, is not going to make that big of a difference.
From what I understand, there's kind of just two different archetypes. You have like your trick sparrows,
right,
which is similar to like, you know, the trick, like the one that we got with the Dark Below, I think it was. And then we'll have like our typical like drift sparrows that allow you to do like that hard corner move. But I think the speed rating will be kind of standard across the board on those. So what I'm expecting is the speed rating or armor, whatever ratings on them, will be comparable to like your best legendary sparrow that you have now, like your Timebreaker or whatever else you might have that's fairly new.
Right. Yeah, and there's a couple different looking ones, but again, a lot of them, once you see the model or the type of sparrow, a lot of them look similar. There's just a couple different.
But don't get me wrong, these things look really cool.
Yeah, they're the new looking model with kind of the hollow split middle. Like, it looks cool, dude. Like, they're gonna be fun to ride around on some different looking sparrows than what we've been used to. The Timebreaker, man, like it's time to. I can't even run the one we got for being original Guardian, you know, because it just doesn't have that boost, man.
Yeah,
you know, so
you gotta have the
one of these replace it.
Yeah, but this stuff looks really cool, and I'm really excited to race. Another big feature that was reported to be part of this experience when it was played on the PSX floor was you could actually go in and matchmake with, like, you could bring a full fire team of 6 and just play your friends.
Oh, that's cool, man.
And that sounds really fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
And hopefully what people are hoping is that is a little development that could turn into something in the regular Crucible,
right,
where you could just bring just your friends into game types and just play with just your friends.
Right. I think this is something like, this is just fun. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
it's like we need the little games in the tower that we always mention. Like this is
I mean, it'll be some competition, but it'll just be
fun competition.
You know?
It's just something neat to have in the game. I hope it'll be interesting to see, like we said, what kind of time frame this drops in on us. I can't imagine it'll be 3 weeks and then gone for a long time, but who knows? Maybe it will be. It would be neat if
it might be
did it once every couple
till the
months
next DLC that we see it again. Who knows?
Right.
I mean, but if a lot of people play it, they could bring it back sooner. Maybe, they may not want to bring it back right away unless they made like another track or something.
Right. I mean, you got to give them credit, dude. This isn't like just throwing some 2 tracks in and you take the Sparrow you have and you just go race. Like this
you just run around in circles. They put some stuff into this. Yeah. I'm really excited about these new emotes they're bringing in. So I got to give credit where credit's due for a lot of this info that was put together. For this in particular, Mesa Sean had a really good video with all these new emotes that I checked out. Right. So go check that out on his YouTube channel if you want to see these. But they had some really fun ones, man. We've got like air guitar. A lot of these sound like really vanilla, but the way that they did the gestures were really funny. Like there's a thumbs up and thumbs down, a victory wave, a bow down, jazz hands. You've got like face palm, but these are really cleverly executed, and I can see like some really hilarious ways to use these, like in the Crucible and with your friends and stuff. So they look fun. I'm glad we have some new ones already.
Yeah, man, no doubt. I think any time we can get new emotes will just make it a little bit more interesting. Some of them are hilarious. You just have to see them.
We're just tireless fiends for this stuff, man. Like these freaking emotes. It's so sad.
I gotta say though, man, I've got the bow emote, and it is great for trials because we don't teabag or do any of that, so I'm stuck on the bow because it's kind of a respectful emote. So it'll be interesting to see if any of these kind of can take the place of that.
Well, I run an Awoken, and so I always have my bow by default, like my normal bow that I use. But I never bought like the new bow emote,
right.
So I have to go buy that tonight before they put it into these.
Yeah, you gotta get that.
So I'm going to do that, but I'm looking forward to get some of these other new ones. They look pretty cool.
It's good stuff, man. I mean, that's dropping tomorrow, so we'll be jumping
I'm pretty excited, man.
Yep.
I know that we're going to have to talk more about this when we actually play it and get a chance to get our hands into it and see what it's all about. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of guys that really love playing on those Sparrows, and I've always had fun. There's actually going to be enemies in the courses that you'll have to kind of like work your way
I saw
around.
that in the video, man.
So that could be a nice little interesting, I guess kind of boundary or barrier to what you have going on. And the perks on some of this gear looks pretty interesting. Like you can have gloves that make side boosts take less fuel.
Right.
You can have boots that give you boost gain from tricks, adds more fuel. So this is some interesting stuff. Like, and I'm wondering like if you'll be able to keep some of this stuff, like the boots, glove, chest, like if you'll be able to keep any of it after Sparrow Racing League.
I hope so,
and
man.
Like bring it into like patrol, and play around with like these perks that you can have and stuff. That would be kind of fun.
Videos on the way to spec out your Sparrow League racer, and then I hope we can keep them, man, because some of that stuff we've seen in those videos, this looks so sleek. It's just so different from any other gear we've seen, man.
It's definitely different looking, and I love the aesthetic that they put together for this. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely talk more about it next week. Once we, like you said, once we get our hands on it, and we'll be doing some Sparrow racing this week and this weekend.
Oh yeah, man. You got any other wishes for the patch that drops tomorrow? I'm kind of hyped up for this.
I am too, man. I hope we get some surprises. I'm pumped though to get some of these. They've got me excited all over again. Call it good or bad about some year one exotics, man. So.
Yeah, man. What's on your wish list?
Of course, Armamentarium. I got to get my Armamentarium.
Oh yeah.
But I actually really want to give Mida a shot. I only played with it a little bit in year one, so with possibly pulses going down a little bit and scouts still being a viable option, I'm pretty pumped. What about you? What are you?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because there was a lot of talk about Mida before taking King and some really cool strategies that you could utilize to use Mida, and I kind of broke it out one day because I'd never really given it a fair shake in PvP. And I think I was on Twilight Gap. and I busted it out and I started popping heads. It's like, what? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, holy crap,
Right.
this thing's great. And I'm like running around like a madman and taking advantage of that agility boost and
It's
everything.
always just kind of been touted as like the all-around gun. It can kind of do what any Guardian wants it to do, kind of thing.
But it's, you know, the biggest thing in PvP is the speed boost that it provides for you, and the flexibility it gives you in how you want to engage a fight and how you can get away quicker, and how if you run it with certain classes, if you run it with Radiant Dance Machines, how you can just be running around like crazy. So there's some cool stuff you can do. So I'm looking forward to getting it into year 2.
I love the way it sounds, man. It sounds cool.
Yeah. What do they call it? The stapler.
Yeah. It's just like a real short little
just ting,
quick
ting,
sound.
Ting. Yep.
What else,
so I'm looking forward to trying that out, and I really want to get my hands on those nothing manacles again.
That's right. Yep.
So I can use my some scatter grenades and throw those out there. I had a lot of fun when those first came out.
Yeah, and, I remember you mentioning those.
Man, there's some other good stuff coming in too. I really want to see what they do with that Dragon's Breath.
Oh, I agree.
I'm excited to see if there's any perk changes.
Yeah, we were chatting with one of our Dirt family members on Twitter about that. And it's been a few weeks now, but I agree, dude. It's going to be interesting to see if they make that thing a little bit more of an option we want to use. It's a cool rocket launcher, man. It looks cool. Like, I hope they give us a reason to equip that thing.
Yeah, and let me ask you this: since we have this Sparrow Racing League that's going to be going on for 3 weeks, do you think we're going to have any kind of Christmas event in the tower now?
I don't know, man. Like, I really don't know. Like, you'd think they would have some sort of holiday-ish type theme in the tower, but I don't know. Maybe they'll decorate a bit, but I don't know with this if I wouldn't think we would get anything to the level of Festival of the Lost. But last year it was the same thing. We got something for Halloween and then we didn't get anything else. So I know we have the live team now, but I think you may be onto something. This may be our event.
That may be kind of the thing, and so we'll see. I mean, I would just be happy for some decorations and Zura wearing a Santa hat, right?
Something like that, right? Yeah, just some lights in the tower.
Yeah.
Dangling around.
That would be cool.
Yep.
Cool. We'll see.
Well,
let's get into our old Derp community spotlight.
Let's do it, man. We actually got a speak pipe this week, and it's got a story that goes along with it. I hope you guys are going to enjoy. But before I tell you that, our buddy Davis, he's got a speak pipe. So let's listen in here real quick.
Hey guys, this is Davis, the Tower Sherpa, your guide for all things that you already know. Hey, I got a quick suggestion. Had an epic match which we'll get into in a little bit, but I had an idea of with the trials. What do you guys think if, say, that, how the raid has a normal and hard mode, what if trials had a normal and hard mode, where the normal mode would be more like the casual PvP, like myself, that would drop loot between 300 and 310, and then hard mode would drop loot from 310 to 320. The reason why I'm saying this is because me, Most Easily, and Jay Young had a trial match Friday night, and our first trial match was against fellow Derpers, High Tattoo, Terry, and our very own Arrow Knight. And let's say we would probably have a better chance of 3-manning or hard mode than actually winning a match against those 3 guys. So after that match, I had this idea, and I kind of want to share with you guys. So I just wanted your guys' thoughts. I just want to do a couple quick shout-outs to my boys, Kingslayer, Most, Slarty, Dare, Joe, Manny, George, Satcom, Nepcom, a lot of the new guys, Ben, I Tattoo, Jay Young, Pity, Businessman, Holden, Killshot, and a special shout-out to Amy Man on the Microsoft side. Hey, bud, that picture, it's still an iron banana. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so Davis, you got a great idea that we're going to touch on, but before you do that, I got to talk about this a little bit. This is crazy, dude. Cyborg, we kind of talked about this a little bit before the show. Terry, I Tattoo, and myself, we started our passage in trials. First game, first passage, Friday night. I stream. Yeah. I'm streaming when I can now, so I'm streaming it. Got a few of the Derp fan members in chat. We load in, And iTattoo goes, dude, holy cow, that's Davis on the other side. And then we're like, oh, that's mostly easily. And then it's Jay Young. No way, dude. Are you kidding me? So we look at the clan tag. It's the Dirt Fam on the other side, dude.
Oh, man.
And it's like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I know we could get matched up together, but what are the odds, man? On Friday night, we just started our card, so the game, really didn't know how to match make us. I'm not sure where Davis and them were in their card, but it just kind of turned into this funny thing. And we just, we played against each other. They had top spawn, which is usually better, but the heavy spawn up there they're kind of open. I have to. We were chatting in the group me chat and just kind of laughing it up about it and just how random it was. But I have to say, I posted it in there, but I wanted to say sorry again to you guys. I totally zoned out. Just not even thinking that it was Dirt Fam on the other team. I rushed up those stairs and I sniped heavy down at you guys.
Oh, brutal.
I know, man. And then I was like, I just went into autopilot and I'm like, wait, no, they have the bad heavy spawn. I can't do this to the Dirt Fam. I realized, man, but sorry again, guys, about that. But it was fun. It was cool. It was random. But with that, Davis's idea, and I'm going to let you, if you want, just jump into this, Cyborg. He's got the idea of normal mode trials and a hard mode trials, 300 to 310 light versus hard mode 310 to 320. So maybe like someone like Davis, who's just jumping in trials and likes the bounties, and Joe and Manny are kind of doing the same thing. They would jump in normal mode, and maybe Guardians like you and myself would jump into hard mode. I don't know. What do you think about this idea?
So how would you delineate which mode that you're going into? And how do you keep the tryhards and the guys that are real good out of normal mode?
I guess the only thing that's immediate good points. I guess the only thing that would gauge this, like anything else, would be the loot, man. I mean, if they really wanted to be trolls, the really the diehard trials players that are just unbelievable. You're right, man. They could just jump right in normal mode and just tear it up.
Unless they use their Bungie's inherent true skill or whatever it is they use to rank you, or they move you into similar to how Halo has divisions or what have you, like different tiers that you get moved into depending on your performance. Like at a certain point, it would just automatically move you into the harder mode, and you'd be in a higher class of competition.
I guess overall, you probably wouldn't find a ton of them in there because a lot of hardcore trials players are in it for the challenge and they're going to want that top tier gear. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah,
You're
that's what
right.
I would hope.
It's going to happen.
I would just worry about the experience getting ruined for the less skilled class of players that are just trying to get in there, get better, get some loot.
Right.
And then you run across a team of guys that just have ridiculous KDs that are just coming in there for shits and giggles,
right?
Stomp on everybody's dreams. I mean, that's pretty much what's happening now anyways.
Yeah. Which is weird if you think about, the matchmaking is based on your card, right? So is that right? Am I understanding that right? Have we talked about this before?
But I don't completely buy that.
Like if we go in on an empty card, does it still try to match us in some way to someone at our level of play, whatever that may be?
That's what I'd like to. That's what I think that it's going to try to initially to put you with somebody that is going to be somewhere around the same as you. But at the same time, I'll run into teams that will stomp on, and then I'll get stomped on the next game. I don't think it's consistent enough to know for sure.
Right.
How that matchmaking works and what it prioritizes.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, it's a good idea. I guess we would have two different playlists that you would pick from. But the other thing is too is the 9-0, I guess if you went 9-0, you would just get up to 310 gear on the normal mode. Yeah. But then again,
it's an interesting idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know that
it could
they'll do
even
it.
just be different tournaments that you could have, maybe it wasn't trials, but it was the same format as trials, just ran, with some other kind of type, type of different character ran it like Shaxx and it's just a different thing altogether. and then Trials is the like final end game.
Right.
You know.
I mean, I think Trials is sticking around, man. I mean, it is an example of a game mode that they launched, and I think they realized very quickly that this is something that's going to have to stay in the game. Something pretty close to it. I don't know why you would ever get rid of it at this point, but I don't know, man. It's such a cool story, though. Davis, I mean, we were all having fun with it in the group me chat. It was just so random, man. Like, it was just crazy that we had 3-on-3 all derp fam, totally randomly match made. It was just kind of a funny thing.
That is pretty crazy, man. That is. We had an email from David Hopkins, and he says, "Hey guys, Hoppy Kez from the land down under. I have a question / salt and a bit of a rant with the weapons patch coming up soon, and I know I'm going to take some heat on this. So I am mainly a PvE player, and this is where the salt comes in. So why are 98% of the weapon balancing dictated by PvP to keep them happy? I understand the need for balancing in PvP, but why does it keep stuffing my weapons up in PvE? So Shoddy's looking to be crap soon in PvE, and I guess in PvP as well." And he went on a little bit, but I'm going to cut off the end of that rant because it was real salty.
That's all right. It was
no,
email,
it's okay. It was a good email, but no, he has an interesting point, and I've brought up this viewpoint myself in the past. And it's an interesting topic. The fact that, there is a lot of, demand for balance that's presented because of the Crucible.
Right.
A lot of which may not occur if the game was just PvE related. And because the mechanics are the same across the board for the most part, all these Crucible changes do affect PvE. I mean, I was just talking recently about how I really love shotguns in PvE and how they're, a really important tool for certain encounters. If you play them a certain way, and how they may not be quite as effective anymore because of the changes that are upcoming. And I can kind of see where Hoppykez is coming from, who, sounds like he mainly plays a lot of PvE. And man, I think we may have gotten emails just like this at least 2 or 3 times. Guys who are like, man, I'm so sick of the PvP guys ruining our fun.
Right. Man, I think like one of my favorite things about this game, and I think I mentioned it like 20 episodes ago, I love that my character, I take that character with me everywhere in the game. I take the loot with me everywhere in the game. But I think, and they've kind of toyed with it a little bit with different types of weapons, but I really think at a certain point, it's almost inevitable. Like things, even supers, man, because you take the Sunbreaker Titan, it's arguably, more, too powerful in PvP, but it is a blast in PvE. You know what I mean? And you take the weapons and the subclasses, and it's just like at some point it's almost gonna have to be changed independently of each other and 2 different tiers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you compare this to the problem that they had when they launched the game, okay, if you go back and listen to a podcast Luke Smith did after the Taken King launch, he talks a little bit about how they were kind of in this quandary where they had to launch the game with a leveling system that they knew they were not happy with. Where, people were having problems, that whole Forever 29 thing and how that's going to work and how attack defense stuff works.
Right.
And so they came up with a solution, but they couldn't just overnight or with just the next DLC roll that out. It took a couple DLCs to fine tune it, a lot of planning, and then finally with the Taken King, they implemented the whole light system. Mm-hmm. And I can't speak to whether there's an ultimate solution that they need to divide the PvP and PvE content completely as far as skills and weapons and everything and balancing. I don't know if that's the right solution or not. I'm not a game developer.
Right.
But I think a lot of people are starting to lean that way. And I think that Bungie has a lot of work ahead to balance this game. Mm-hmm. Between PvE and PvP, it's really complicated, and they may eventually lean that way, but I don't think it's going to happen overnight. Similar to how they changed the leveling system, mm-hmm. It may be something that they have to do incrementally in steps, and maybe by Destiny 2, maybe they have a new solution for that in place, and maybe they're already working on that. Maybe they already know that they're going to have to divide that, but they can't do it right away.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can tell just with the light system, like you said, that they're kind of learning as they go. They've definitely hit something, I think, with the infusion system, and who knows where we're going to be a year from now. But Destiny just provides that thing for me that it's got the lore. If you want to dive into it, it's got everything about the game is just all encompassing. You've got your app, you've got your armory, you've got all these things you can do in the game, PvP, PvE. And, as a huge PvP player, and I originally, like we both were, played 6 months of PvE before I jumped in PvP. I love that all of that's in the game. And I don't like that, something that's powerful in PvP is also getting affected in PvE when it's probably fine. For example, auto rifles are getting that buff, and I kind of took note of this because I wanted to mention it. I used the Monte Carlo a little bit on the patch when auto rifles got that little bit of a buff. It still feels like this is kind of a tangent, but it still feels like it takes a little bit too long to kill. But that thing, man, I was playing against a guy in trials this weekend. That gun is an example of something that I think is going to be super powerful when this patch hits tomorrow. And it's just an example like that of, nobody's using auto rifles right now. So we're going to see them in PvE. We're going to see them in PvP. And a gun like that, I feel like, we're going to be seeing a lot of it after tomorrow. So I don't know, man. It's such, we've mentioned this so many times, but I can't imagine sitting on their side of the table and trying to somehow balance all of this stuff and then keep everyone even remotely happy with the changes they make.
Right.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's got to be just a very complicated job and task they have doing that. And as we can see, it takes them a lot of time and a lot of thought to do that properly. And I think over the past year plus, they've worked on it and plugged away at it, made changes here, gone back, change this thing back, do this, there's a lot of tinkering they've had to do, but this is a very complex game. I think under the hood, and there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of weapons. There's a lot of subclasses.
And they just keep
there's a lot of classes of weapons.
Another layer.
Oh yeah,
another
and
layer.
It just gets bigger and bigger, and as that happens, it becomes more and more complex, and there's more and more to balance. And so, what a lot of people have said is, as this becomes more complex, eventually, it seems like the solution is to split those worlds. But what does that do to the player base? What does that do to the game?
Right.
Because I think a big reason why the PvP and the PvE content is balanced the same from the start is because the PvE is for many the gateway into PvP. And if you walk into PvP and suddenly your shotgun doesn't work the same, or your subclass doesn't work the same, it can be very confusing. And you don't want to alienate a big portion of the player base because they drop into the Crucible and they can't figure out what the hell's going on.
Right.
Yeah,
no question, man.
And so that's something to be considered as well, is that they want to make sure that the users will use the mode and like the mode and be comfortable with it. And you get a ton of, practice initially with your weapons and your armor and with your subclasses in PvE before you ever step foot in the Crucible for the first time. So there's something to be said for that.
No, man. Well said. That's a topic we could talk about all night long. It's just Destiny is...
Yeah, we could go on and on.
Destiny is a massive machine now that's just going forward, and they're trying to keep it awesome. I just can't imagine some of the things they have to think about. But anyways, man, great questions this week. You guys got to keep it up. We have a few shout outs. We also got a couple emails here and there, and we want you guys to share any stories that you have. We want to share it in the shout out section, not just our stories. But we have to give a shout out this week to at RTO Podcast, which is Return to Orbit. They are the UK Destiny podcast. These guys have chatted with Cyborg and I over the last couple months, and they've been Derp family members, and they started their own podcast, asked us for a little bit of advice, whatever we could give them. We told them we're 20-ish episodes in. I'm not sure how much we can help you, but we're still learning.
Here's what we know.
Yeah. So here's a few hiccups that we've ran into, but we wanted to just say great first few episodes. We appreciate the shout out in your first episode, and congratulations on launching your show. And if you need anything, you can contact us, or of course the Derp fam will be more than happy to help you out. So
absolutely, guys.
Yeah.
Congrats on your brand new venture there, and we wish you the best.
Definitely. Yeah, and you guys, we got to say, Cyborg and I both listened in some, and you guys sounded great. We sounded a little, kind of like on our first episode, not super energetic, and I mean, we tried, it's
we had some work.
Yeah, we've gotten a little comfortable 20-something episodes in, but man, you guys did pretty well in your first episode.
Yeah, you're naturals.
Yeah.
Plus you're British, so I mean,
Instantly.
You automatically just sound way cooler than we do on the radio.
And us Westerners.
So you got that going for you. Yeah. But also we had a tweet, and we got to give a shout out to @HoldenCourt. He said, further achievement, War Priest challenge done on all 3 characters in @Destiny the game. As usual, thanks to @Destiny Reset, #DerpFam.
There's that Derp fam, man.
That Derp fam. @HoldenCourt's great member of our community, and he's been really proud to get these challenges and
he's been real
raid under his belt.
Real appreciative of the Derp fam. He's our
Absolutely.
Hong Kong resident, and the Derp fam has helped him out quite a bit. So that's awesome stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I think we had another email you wanted to
definitely.
to read for
This
us.
is exactly what we're looking for in this shout out section. And believe it or not, this was totally random. But
we swear to God,
yes,
guys, we did not do
we
this
didn't
on
do
purpose.
this on purpose. Necessary Evil sent us an email. And I'm just going to read it like Cyborg did his geography lesson, because I don't want to butcher his shout out here. But he said, hey, y'all, Necessary Evil from the X1 side of the Derp family, which I guess answers our question about which console he's going to want it on. His $10 in silver. He said, I have met quite a few awesome Destiny players once I stumbled across the podcast. Before joining the Derp fam, I basically grinded to 40, and my end game was simply to grind strikes. He said, if you could somehow fit this into the shout out section of the show, I would much appreciate it. I would like to give a huge shout out to Duke Aldo, aka the Sauerkraut. Great. N. Wahlberg and Fugly88, aka Marky Mark and Donnie. And finally, a huge shout out to TX Andyman, aka English Isn't My First Language. We got some nicknames here, man.
Yeah, we got some solid ones.
Andy has taken much of his own playtime to help me with things I've needed, from Nightfalls to my exotic sword to Touch of Malice, and even normal mode King's Fall clears. I appreciate all the other members of the family as well, but these guys are my all-star team. Thank you, Arrow and Cyborg, for not only an awesome podcast, but also for a community full of awesome players. So that's awesome, man. That email, those kind of emails are exactly what we want. Any shout out you want to do, any stories you have, that's the kind of stuff we want to share in this section. So
thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I see these guys on playing a lot. They're all on my friends list, and I always like to check in and see what they're up to.
Right.
I'll kind of preview them and be like, what are these guys doing tonight? Sometimes crash their party, but they're always hanging out together. And I love, just because of my background in Destiny, I love seeing a 6-man fire team come together, and play together a lot, because I think that's like the definitive Destiny kind of experience that I feel like Bungie wants you to have,
right? Like
where you get this regular 6-man and 3-man groups that play together on the reg and really develop these great relationships in a group of friends, where you get to know each other, have fun, and go through adversity together and earn stuff together. So I was really happy seeing this group of guys come together. And so I'm glad that you've been there for each other, and conquering all this awesome content, and you guys keep it up, doing what you're doing. You're what makes the Derp fam great.
Yeah, man. I mean, without a doubt, the Derp fam it's so awesome, dude. We talk about it all the time. It's so cool to see the chat anywhere it's going on. I think people realize, however they hear about the Derp fam and this community, they realize a part of it is bringing positive play. I mean, everything about it is just, there's so many people willing to help each other out. Cyborg and I mean, we really hope that we can jump in and play with a lot of you guys more often. It's just everything about it, dude. We can't say enough about it. The community just continues to be positive, and it's a cool thing. We really appreciate it.
Yep, it doesn't even need us. You guys,
no, without a doubt, dude.
You guys took the reign, and you're just an awesome group of players that, just foster positivity and, showing the Derp fam love. So keep it up, guys. We can't be happier with what's going on in our community.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Where can they find you on Twitter, dude?
You can always find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter. I've been picking up some Twitter users after last week's show. I gotta say, before we wrap this up, got a nice little initiative started by @Hidden, our good old friend there, and he says let's start a hashtag hold the salt.
Yes.
Hashtag hold the salt. So that's without trying to take on that myself. It's taken its own
that's awesome.
Its own life form. So if you got something to say, keep it unsalty.
There you go.
Hold the salt.
Hold the salt. Hashtag
and,
hold the salt.
Keep it positive. Yep.
I thought you were going to say we got a tweet too about get Cyborg a PS4 like we mentioned last week, but that didn't seem to take off.
Don't do that. Don't take that off. I cannot afford in my time to have a PS4.
I know, man.
That is a problem I cannot fix.
We were talking about that this week. It's like one character on each or 3 characters on one. It's like you gotta if you're you got to just pick one or the other, man. It's just not possible.
Yeah. Maybe if I broke my leg or something, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Jesus.
Right? No, hopefully not, man.
Hopefully not. Where can they find you, Arrow Knight?
You can find me at the Arrow Knight with a 0. That's part of my name now, I think. And I appreciate everyone that does actually do a 0. It's not that big of a deal, but it's cool when I do see a 0 in there. But at the Arrow Knight on Twitter and YouTube, Arrow Knight, and also Twitch, Arrow Knight. I have streamed like 3 or 4 times in the last 2 weeks, so I'm really trying to just, now that I got my setup, just hit that button and stream while we play. I mean, I'm playing anyway, so we might as well just kind of use it as an opportunity to hang out. So
so go check him out.
Yep, cool.
So he's got some fun streams. It's funny sitting there just listening to him and Terry and iTattoo talk and
funny,
stuff.
Man.
They're funny to I like listening to y'all's dynamic when you play Trials. It's good. I take notes.
I don't know, man. We've been playing so long now. We've got kind of our routine. Tim jumps in there, Dixie Flatline, and Paulie D as well. Hopefully some others soon.
Yeah.
But it's fun to listen to it. Period, man. I could just listen to people play Trials, like you said. It's just neat to hear.
It's a fun thing to do.
So.
But you can always find us at Destiny Reset. Give us a follow. Be sure to retweet and follow us for a chance to win those engrams.
Getting closer to 1,000.
Yep. You can email us at destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com. You can check us out on the web, destinyresetpodcast.com, if you want to find links to all of our social media, the Bungie.net group. Send us an email, subscribe to us on iTunes, Shout Engine, the works.
Yeah.
It's all there for you.
I gotta say,
thank you guys for the iTunes reviews.
Yes.
Is that what you're going to say?
Dude, I was going to say we got like 3 this week, and it's again with the community and the Derp fam. We're starting to see more and more often in the review on iTunes how they like the podcast, but it's really cool the community that comes along with it. And we've even got like Derp family mentioned in it. So it's so cool, man.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Great.
Yep, good stuff.
Well, fun show, man.
Yeah, man. We'll
looking forward to tomorrow jumping into all this stuff.
I know, man. It's like a little mini DLC pack releasing tomorrow, and we're gonna be some professional Sparrow racers this time next week, right?
Oh yes.
All right.
I'm gonna be I'm gonna have my need for speed ready to go.
Exactly.
Man.
It's gonna be a blast, dude. Well, as usual, guys, until next week, have fun playing Destiny, racing those sparrows, and take care, Guardians.
Ha! You look ready, Hivebane.
That was nice, dude. It's like your voice changes instantly, man. You don't even have like a second to prepare.
Yeah, I practice, man. Practice makes perfect.